These might be the most hated motors in the FPV community. When talking with other pilots about doing this video about these motors, every single pilot I talked to told me to stay away from them. And at first, I decided I would stay away from them. And then MEPS reached out to me and asked if they could send me some motors to review. And I thought, why not? What's the worst that could happen? Well, a lot. This video definitely did not go how I planned and has been the most frustrating video for me to make. But more on that later. These are the MEPS 2203.5 1500 kV 6S motors. In this video, I will be taking apart a drone, putting the motors that MEPS sent me on that drone, and this is a drone that I've wanted since I started flying FPV drones, and then I'll show you test flights and give you my thoughts on if these motors should be the most hated motors or not. Go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Consider supporting me on Patreon for more videos just like this every single week. Let's get into it. This is the drone that we will be taking the motors off of and putting the brand new motors on. Now, I was not the original builder of this drone. I bought it because I wanted a Shen drone squirt, and whenever I got it, it had 4S motors on it, which isn't a problem, but I fly mainly 6S and I didn't want to have to buy a bunch of new batteries for this drone to work. So we're going to swap out the 4S motors with the 6S motors, and then hopefully, if everything goes well, this will be my daily driver for drone tours. And what's nice about this drone is with the 6S system, it should have enough power and stability to be able to hold my GoPro 11 mini, which is what I want. Now, I do love flying with my little bitty tiny whoops with the air units on them, but because I do so much social media content, the GoPro 11 mini just works so much better for me because I can do vertical and horizontal videos out of the same video clip without losing much quality or field of view, whereas with the 03 air unit, it definitely adjusts the quality and you don't get as wide of a field of view. So that's my reasoning in wanting to upgrade this drone because, you know, I've got the Avata 2, I've got the Pavo 20 Pro, I've got the Flylens 85. I have drones that are available for indoor flights, but I don't have anything that can carry a GoPro. And so that's what this whole build is going to be. First things first, I have to take this drone completely apart in order to expose the internals, in order for me to unsolder the motors that are currently on here so that we can then solder on these new motors. Okay, so you might be asking yourself, why on earth am I not taking this completely apart the proper way? And that's because I want to be able to preserve as much of this as possible, because call it laziness, call it whatever you want, but I just don't want to mess with it all. So we're going to kind of peel all this stuff back in order to get all the motor wires off and everything like that, but things are kind of going to be just attached for now, which is fine. Everything's fine. It's all fine. So we have the drone disassembled the way that I need it to be. The motors are unscrewed, and now it is time to desolder these pads. Okay, so now that we have all of the old motors off, we're going to start the reassembly process. Start by opening up the motors. And you can absolutely see that these motors are much beefier than these little guys are. Let me get this out of the package and I'll show you. I mean, honestly, look at the difference here. Yeah, that's definitely going to have quite a bit more power. So now we have everything screwed in. Now it's time to start dealing with these wires and routing them and figuring out how I want them to sit on the board. And then once that is done, it'll be cutting time. This is not a building tutorial. I'm just letting you know. Do not take this as a building tutorial because your boy is not the greatest builder. But we're getting there. But this is not a building tutorial, so I'm not going to sit here and give you advice on how to do this because, yeah, it ain't it. So, all right, I cut the first wire. There's no going back now. Definitely cut it too long, but that's okay. That's what we want. Wire number 2. And wire number 3. Okay, let's strip these wires, tin them, and get them attached. Let's tin these wires real quick. You don't want to do this over top of your ESC because that would not be good. So we're going to do it over top of the motor. It's fine. Everything's fine. It's all fine. Extend this bad boy out. We got one down, bunches to go. This is going to take forever, especially the way that I'm doing it. But that's okay. Safety first. Well, maybe not really safety first, but we're just being careful. I have not soldered many motor wires, so we're just going to be gentle with it. All right, we are tinned up on this first set, so let's get it going. Can move that out of my way. This is a mess. This looks like an absolute mess, I am telling you. All right, we got one down. Man, that's stressful. We'll clean that up later. This isn't going to be a very clean job, so just don't worry about it. It's fine. Everything's fine. It's all fine. Listen, we all are growing together. I will never claim to be an expert about every single thing that I do. There are things, however, that I am good at, but I do not claim to be. Definitely not an expert builder of drones. There it is. That's the one. Yep, she ain't ever coming off, so. All right. Okay, so we've got one done. Now we've got a bunch more. I'm not going to make you all watch this. We will come back whenever everything is completed. Listen, she ain't pretty, but she is done. So I'm going to take some of this cloth electrical tape and clean it up a little bit and then put it back together and we'll go from there. So I've got the whole drone essentially put back together. There's a couple things that I didn't do. I didn't put the propeller guards back on because, as you can see, the USB port would be covered by those. And then I did not reattach the zip tie for this, and we'll add those things once we make sure that the motors work, that they're spinning properly, and then we'll go from there. Oh yeah, almost forgot. Before we go any further, let's plug it in and see if it explodes. Hey, the motors seem to move. Hold up. Let me check and see if they're all moving. All right, it didn't blow up, so we did something right. Okay, so we've got the drone hooked up to the computer. We've got Betaflight here, so we're gonna check the direction of these motors real quick. I'm going to plug it in, and I do have to turn on this fan in order for me to test the motors, because if you use an old air unit, they will overheat, and I have an old air unit on this, so the audio might be bad here for a second. If you hear a voiceover, then you know the audio was trash. So let's plug it in and get into it. Let's go down to motors, and we're gonna test each motor to see if they spin. So we've got motor 1, which is back here, spins. Motor 2 spins. Motor 3 spins. And motor 4 spins. Sweet. Okay. So now we're just going to check the direction of the motor, and I'm just going to barely put this thing on here, just ever so slightly, so that it can tell the direction of the motor spinning. We're actually going to start with this one back here. Let's see if it's spinning the proper way. I need to figure out which way I want the motors to spin. Okay, so if this one is spinning this way, this one needs to spin in. Okay, so it is spinning in. So we can take that. Now let's see what motor 2 is. Motor 2, I believe, is spinning in as well. And we don't want that to be the case. Yep, motor 2 is spinning in, so we need to reorder that. Let's check on motor 3. We're gonna kind of tuck this up here. This is probably not the safest way to be doing this, but like I said, I'm not an expert on building here. Okay, so that one is spinning out, which is good. And then let's try this one here, motor number 4. And that one is spinning in as well, so I need to change motor order. Do stop motors, motor direction. I understand the risks. Go back to motor 1, test that one. Motor 2. Motor 3. And motor 4. All right, so all the motors should be spinning their proper ways now. So I'm gonna unplug this and we'll put it together and do some test flights. So we've got the drone down in the basement, and I don't like doing my first test flights inside, but it's raining outside, and so I figured this is the best place to do it because we got to get this video done. So yeah, we are going to be just turning it on, plugging it in, and making sure that it hovers and stuff. The tune on this drone, from what I can believe, whenever I flew it last, was not great, but that could also have been my fault. Actually, it is my fault. I hate tuning drones, so we're just gonna see how well this flies before we completely put it back together. All right, it's plugged in. Here we go. Oh, gotta pre-arm it first. Okay, so it is flying. Okay, well, it does take off. Okay, that is good. That's very good. I'm very scared to make this thing hover. I'm gonna put it in horizon mode. There it is. Okay. Let's kill it real quick. We'll put it back on here. Let's see what it does this time. Okay, it flies. It doesn't seem to be doing anything too crazy, so I think we're good. I think we're good to put it back together and try it again. Oh, we did it! All right, so we're gonna put everything back together, and then I'm gonna try to fly it around my house. Well, that is very exciting for me that it works because I was not so sure about it. So we're gonna take off the propellers and we're gonna put on these new prop guards. I printed off some blue ones instead of the purple ones because I feel like it will just fit the aesthetic better. I already have a lot of purple pieces for it, and then the motors are green, so I figured, you know, use pink props, and then that would clash with the purple. So yeah, so we're gonna put all this back together fully, put a GoPro on here, and try to fly it through my house and see how well that works. And I know this video is about motors, and so far so good. The motors work. This is one of those things where only time will tell. But so far I'm not mad at them. So that was the first time I had screwed a nut on them, and it looks like the paint is already coming off of that. But I guess that's to be expected whenever you're dealing with parts that have screws on them. You know, paint just doesn't stick. But I do really like these. The motors are not hot at all, which is good. They might be a little bit warm, but we're gonna see what happens when we finish putting this thing together. The propellers do fit really snug on these motors. I kind of had to press them in, which I really like. The more stable everything is, the better it goes, I feel like. Meaning the more, I don't know, the more secure things fit, like stuff like that, the happier I am with it. This whole video has just been me building drones so far, and well, you are taking a front row to it. I do not claim to be a professional drone builder. If you see dumb things that I'm doing, let me know down in the comments below, because I can assure you there are lots of ways that I need to grow in my drone skills. For instance, one of the things that I hate about building drones is tuning drones with your PID tunes and everything like that, and all the bidirectional D-shot and just all the things that goes into it. It all confuses me and irritates me. So these don't really have a specific direction that they go on, so we're just gonna throw them on. And these are hot off the press. I literally printed them last night. Also, don't come at me for my 3D prints. I know my 3D prints are not the greatest, but they do, however, work. So that is really the goal that we have, is just make these suckers work. And be honest, that looks pretty dope. Yeah, I'm a big fan. This is going to be one very colorful drone. What should we name it? Comment down below what you would like to name this drone, and I guess the winning comment, or the comment with the most likes, will get pinned, and I will call this drone that name. Don't do anything stupid, please, but if you do something stupid, just make it awesome. Maybe we should name it Peanut for the squirrel. Oh, she a mean machine. Look at this thing. That thing is so sick. I freaking love this. Look at that motor color with all the other stuff. Yeah, I'm enjoying this very much so. Okay, so everything's put back together. All I got left to do is put on the props, and we'll be good to go. One of the things that I've always been curious about with making this such a colorful drone, does this make me look less professional showing up to a client to shoot something with this, with it being so colorful? Or do you think people do not care? Or what's your opinion on this? Would you rather it just be all black and a solid color? Like, how we feeling about this? Boom. We have a completed drone. Look how beautiful that thing is. Look at the motor colors. Oh, I love it. Let's get into this. All right, we're going to go grab some goggles, grab a GoPro, and I'll meet you in the basement, and we're going to fly. Okay, so everything's recording. Let's, without further ado, take this on my maiden flight through my house. Let's hope I don't break anything, and we're going to get it. And I have nothing in my OSD of my goggles. That's fantastic. Good job, Johnny. All right, here we go. All right, we're flying. He's pretty shaky, if I do say so. Oh, yeah, we're being pulled into the wall. Air mode is off, so I shouldn't be getting pulled into the wall, but I am. Oh, this is terrible. All right, so we're going to definitely have to fix the tune on this thing. But it's so responsive. Oh, Lord have mercy, these 6S motors. Very, very strong. All right, let's bring it back. So we know the drone flies. So there's a me issue with tuning it. But so far, so good. The thing is shaky as crap. It's definitely putting out some wind. Lord have mercy. Alright, well, the drone does indeed fact fly. The motors are good. But your boy needs to work on some tuning. Alright, let's see how hot these motors are. Telemetry lost. They're not hot at all. They're, I mean, maybe just a smidgen warm. But no, it handled it really well. Honestly, the only issue right now is just my tune on this drone. Once I get my tune figured out, this thing is going to be an absolute animal. So I am extremely excited about this. But I will say I am impressed. The motors are not hot in the slightest, and they performed really well. I could tell. I've got a throttle curve set up, and I could tell whenever I was getting close to pushing past that throttle curve, it had some power. So that's extremely exciting for me. I mean, this is 6S, so of course it's going to have some power. But yeah, overall, I'm very satisfied with the performance of these motors. I won't bore you with my whole tuning journey, as this is not what this video is about, but just know that it has been an absolute nightmare. I spent about 3 weeks on this and had lots of people helping me to get it to the point that you're about to see. I was honestly extremely frustrated and almost scratched this whole project and this video. But I wanted it to work, and I wanted this drone to work. So I stuck it out, and honestly, I'm proud that I did, and I'm very thankful I did, because I thoroughly enjoyed this drone. Just know that the tuning process absolutely almost killed me, and I was about to never try to build a drone ever again. I was so frustrated. So we've gotten the drone to where it'll fly. Not the greatest, but it does fly. So now we're going to get back to what the video is really about, and can these motors handle it? So I'm out here, and I want to do some outdoor flights, because obviously this drone's a little bit big to be doing some indoor flights to really get some testing going. So I got 2 batteries charged, and we're going to push this thing to its limits. So let's get into it. Let's see what this bad boy can do. There we go. It's fine. It's fine. Don't listen to that. All right, so we're flying. This will be the longest test flight that I've had with these motors. So let's hope I don't burn anything out. But yeah, I mean, flies pretty decent. I'm actually not getting a ton of shake out here. But I do just really like this drone. It's got good power. We've got good control. Yeah, I mean, so far so good. These things are doing well. Actually, it might have been because I was flying it inside, because the tune on this drone isn't that bad. Now, I did adjust quite a bit on the tune. to hopefully make it a lot more stable. But I'm really not too mad about the way the drone is handling. I feel like it's loose. I don't know if that makes any sense whatsoever, but the drone just feels kind of loose. It doesn't feel like it's responding as well to my inputs as some of my other drones. But that could be the weight that's on it. I don't know. I don't tune drones. I just buy drones and fix them whenever I break them. So, but so far so good. I'm kind of enjoying this. And this drone is not meant for freestyling or anything, but it does have. It's got some punch. And these motors aren't really designed for freestyle, but we can do whatever we need to with this. And like truly me flying it like this, I understand why the Shin drone was such a popular drone whenever it first was released and why everyone wanted one, and like why I still wanted one, because it's just solid. Now I know there are better frames out now and stuff like that, but truly for flying cinematically and low and slow and all that kind of thing, it's pretty decent. So I mean, motors are doing good. We haven't had anything crazy happen, so let's try and push it a little bit more. Oh, I just did something with the wind. That was a me fault. That was my flying. That was crazy to feel that. Just okay, yeah. I'm not used to flying with such crazy ducks on a drone, so my yaw spin got a little bit out of control there. And there is some wind today. I will say that there's definitely some wind. So, but I don't normally fly my batteries all the way down low, but we're gonna push this battery to see if these motors can handle it, and make sure that nothing's going on with them. So, but yeah, we're chilling. This is it's a very smooth flight for this size of drone and what it's carrying and stuff like that. Like this is not this drone that I built is definitely not for freestyle. This would be like flying outside of a store, or like showing off a venue or something like that. This isn't a crazy drone. It's a cinematic drone. That's what this is for. It's for the cinematics. So we're gonna use it for its intended purposes. Alright, I'm getting used to this tune now. It is feeling better the more I'm flying it, the more it is feeling quite a bit better, so I could just be crazy. I don't know. I think that's the frustrating thing about building your own FPV drones is like a lot of the times stuff doesn't want to work right, and when you do finally get it to work right, it's phenomenal. And honestly, I'm very happy with how this quad is performing right now, which is very surprising considering in my house it wasn't performing that well. But we're gonna see. We might try to do a home tour through the house with it. Now that I'm feeling like the way that it's holding position and it's doing good and it's not super shaky and stuff, we might try to do a home tour. I mean, we've been flying for 5 minutes now, which is exactly what I need for home tours. So, you know, we're not flying anything crazy, but yeah, I mean, it's doing solid. We got 6 minutes of flight time so far, and we still got plenty of power. We're still at 21.6, so not mad at it at all. Yeah, so this could just be a thing of me just being dumb, and this is too big of a drone to be flying inside, or I really don't know. It's so hard, and I don't have like, it's hard to tell people what my issues with my drones are over text and stuff. It's really something that they, you know, kind of need to be here for, and that's not the easiest thing to get organized whenever I'm trying to post a video every single week. So I will say I am so thankful for everyone who has helped out, because there's been a ton of people who have really truly helped me out a ton with this build, and who have spent a lot of time trying to figure things out. So yeah, honestly, I'm not mad. I'm not mad at this build. Not as mad as I was about an hour ago. And so it's cruising. We're cruising it. I kind of want to fly up and through this tree, but I can't really see the branches because I'm using the original air unit. But I think that's going to be all the flight time that I do on this battery. So we're going to bring it in. Boom. All right, that wasn't too bad at all, actually. I really like that. Okay, cool. So yeah, I guess for inside, I just need to send it. But honestly, like, let me see if motors are hot. Motors aren't hot at all, and trust me, I'd be able to tell because it would be, because it's cold out here. And so no, the motors feel just fine. They don't feel, they really don't even feel warm. Okay, all right, I'm impressed. We're doing something right. That worked out really well. I do like those motors, and like I like the drone. All right, I guess I really just needed to get out of my head and get outside and go fly it, because yeah, that didn't feel bad at all. I wonder if there's just a setting or something that I've got on the drone for it to not fly good inside. But no, I really like that. We're gonna have to go take it inside and try to do a drone tour of my house. And that'll really be the true test. Okay, so I got that outdoor flight out of the way, and maybe that just improved my confidence or what, but it did feel really good flying that drone. So now we're going to try it again inside and see if it truly was just a me issue or if it was the PID tunes. I don't know. Regardless, I am very happy with that flight outside. So now I want to try it inside and see what we get from that. All right, so we're in the air, we're doing good. I'm gonna kind of fly it around the basement just for a second, kind of get my bearings with it. All right, let's go through the house. Actually, you know what? We're gonna switch to some less crazy rates. All right, let's go through the house. All right, so the yaw is really stiff on this one. So I think it's interesting. I think there's just a lot of dirty air that I'm flying through with this drone, because there are times where it wants to pop up and there are times where it doesn't want to go forward and stuff. And I think this drone just might be too big for indoor flying, and maybe that's been my issue, because you can see it's kind of dropping and doing a bunch of craziness. And I think that's just the dirty air that we're flying through. So I don't think this drone is going to work for indoor tours. But for outdoor stuff, for kind of bigger things and big spaces, I think this drone will be perfect. So we're going to say that this is a me issue and not a drone issue. And that's just the way it goes. But no, I mean, it's felt pretty good. Oh, that didn't sound good. Let's talk about these motors. I'm going to be honest. I don't know why everyone hates these motors. It could be a longevity thing. It could have been that their older motors didn't work as well as these, since the Neon motors are their newest motors, or the way they've done their marketing in the past. I'm not sure. But honestly, I really like them. Obviously, I'm not pushing them super hard, and I had a ton of issues with the drone itself, but that outdoor flight was a blast, and the motors have handled everything I've thrown at them with flying colors. I would absolutely buy these motors again and use them for other builds. I think for a budget-friendly drone, these motors are absolutely perfect. Maybe even premium builds, but I don't know about the longevity and reliability since I use them on one drone and have only had them for about a month now. If you want to pick up these motors, the link will be down below, and be sure to use the code Johnny10 for 10% off your order. So what do you think about these motors? Have you heard all of the negativity surrounding them? Let me know in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed this video and would like to see more, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Consider supporting me on Patreon. Honestly, I might upload some behind the scenes from this video with all of my frustration from tuning this drone. So if you want to see that, go subscribe to my Patreon. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.